Welcome, listeners, to a focused look at a classic work of strategy, Sun Tzu's The Art of War. This isn't just a dusty relic of military history. It's a practical guide to understanding the dynamics of competition, conflict, and advantage. Whether you're leading a team, negotiating a deal, or simply navigating the complexities of everyday life, the insights contained within these pages offer invaluable guidance. Prepare to explore its wisdom with us as we go through it chapter by chapter, uncovering the core principles that still hold true. Sun Tzu begins by emphasizing that war is not a game, but a matter of utmost importance, a path to either survival or destruction. Therefore, meticulous planning is essential, considering 5 crucial factors: the moral law, the support and harmony of the people, the influence of heaven, like weather and time, the lay of the earth, the terrain and ground conditions, the character of the commander with qualities of wisdom, courage, and strictness, and, finally, method and discipline in the structure and logistics of your forces. It is in these elements, and through a rigorous analysis comparing your forces to the enemy's, that victory can be foreseen. Ultimately, war is built on deception, the ability to feign weakness to lure the enemy or to strike when he is unprepared. Sun Tzu underscores that battles are won through extensive calculations made before the first blow is struck. Chapter 2 delves into the cost and efficiency of warfare. Sun Tzu stresses that protracted campaigns are ruinous, depleting resources and weakening the state. Therefore, swift and decisive victories are key. He argues that the wise commander forages off the enemy, minimizing reliance on their own stretched supply lines. To defeat the enemy, a leader must rouse the army with the promise of rewards, especially for captured assets and troops of the enemy. Victory, not long drawn-out battles, should always be the objective. The leader of armies, therefore, holds in his hands the fate of the people. Here, Sun Tzu highlights the importance of achieving victory without actual fighting. The ideal is to take the enemy's country whole and undamaged. Real excellence lies in breaking the enemy's resistance through strategy, not brute force, such as balking their plans and preventing the joining of their forces. Sieges of walled cities are to be avoided. A skilled leader conquers by strategy, not through lengthy and costly engagements. The strength of the state rests on the general. Lastly, one must know both the enemy and oneself to be able to ensure victory, otherwise defeat is sure. This chapter emphasizes defense as a precursor to offense. Sun Tzu states that true warriors first make themselves invincible and then look for opportunities to defeat the enemy. It is a matter of securing oneself against defeat, with the ability to attack the enemy provided by the enemy themselves. He underscores the need to achieve victory with ease, making no mistakes, a sure sign of a skilled fighter. This chapter also describes an almost mathematical equation of warfare based on measurement, estimation, calculation, balancing of chances, and ultimately victory. The victorious force is a well-calculated, unstoppable force of nature. Sun Tzu now explores the concept of energy in military engagements. Control of a large army comes from the same principle of dividing numbers of men. To make an army unwavering, one should utilize indirect maneuvers. The impact of your army is achieved through understanding and targeting the weak points of the enemy. Direct methods may be used to engage, but indirect maneuvers are needed for victory. The possibilities of direct and indirect maneuvers are an endless circle of movements. The onset of troops is like a torrent, and one must be terrible in attack and swift in decision. Energy is developed by the tension of a drawn crossbow, released at the proper moment. Deceit is the key to victory. Ultimately, the best fighter looks to combined energy and focuses on the most ideal soldiers. This chapter centers on the art of imposing your will upon the enemy. The goal is to control the engagement, forcing the enemy to be in a position you want him to be in and appearing at places the enemy least expects. Attacking undefended locations is also key to success. The most skillful attacker and defender knows what to attack and what to defend. Subtlety and secrecy are paramount to holding the enemy's fate in one's hands. Be absolutely irresistible, targeting the enemy's weaknesses, and be swift in your movements. It is best to discover your enemy's plans to be able to use them to your advantage and to keep your forces concentrated while dividing the enemy. You can concentrate your forces knowing the time and place of the coming battle. Finally, one must know how victory is produced from the enemy's own tactics. It is by modifying tactics and using adaptability to the situation that you can succeed. Tactical maneuvering is deemed the most difficult but necessary aspect of war. It is in this area where devious tactics may be turned into direct advantages and misfortune into gain. It is through these tactics that one must learn the art of deviation. Maneuvering with a disciplined army is advantageous, and an undisciplined multitude most dangerous. Hasty marches in order to wrest an advantage are bound to fail, along with leaving behind one's baggage train. One must take into account the conditions and terrain when advancing. Finally, one must learn to use the signs and signals to influence the ears and eyes of one's army, in addition to recognizing when the enemy is at his highest and lowest spirits. Understanding when to attack and when not to attack the enemy, all while controlling one's moods and conserving energy, and the careful study of circumstances will give one advantage. Sun Tzu explains how to adapt tactics to changing circumstances and the need for flexibility. The general must know when to avoid certain routes, attacks, or battles, and even to disobey the sovereign's commands if needed. One must be well acquainted with the advantages of variation of tactics. Considerations of both advantage and disadvantage should be blended. The art of war is not to rely on the enemy not attacking, but on our own readiness. There are 5 dangerous faults that may befall the leader, such as recklessness, cowardice, a hasty temper, a delicacy of honor, and over-solicitude. These faults must be meditated upon. This chapter emphasizes defense as a precursor to offense. Sun Tzu states that true warriors first make themselves invincible and then look for opportunities to defeat the enemy. It is a matter of securing oneself against defeat, with the ability to attack the enemy provided by the enemy themselves. He underscores the need to achieve victory with ease, making no mistakes, a sure sign of a skilled fighter. This chapter also describes an almost mathematical equation of warfare based on measurement, estimation, calculation, balancing of chances, and ultimately victory. The victorious force is a well-calculated, unstoppable force of nature. Here Sun Tzu categorizes terrain into 6 types, each with its own strategic implications. It is important to understand the advantages and disadvantages of accessible, entangling, temporizing, and narrow ground, along with precipitous heights and areas of great distance. Additionally, the chapter outlines 6 calamities that can befall an army, all stemming from a general's errors. The natural formation of the country is the soldier's best ally, and it is up to a great general to estimate the adversary and the advantages of the terrain. Victory comes from putting knowledge into practice. Finally, one should not fight if victory is not assured, and should advance or retreat without thought of personal gain, but for the well-being of the state. This chapter delves deeper into the strategic nuances of different battlefields. Sun Tzu describes dispersive, facile, contentious, open, intersecting, serious, difficult, hemmed-in and desperate grounds. Each must be managed differently. He stresses the importance of cohesion and swiftness and how these qualities can overrule a larger force. The goal is to take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness, attack unguarded places, and keep them guessing. A good leader instills a sense of common purpose, as well as a spirit of unity and devotion. Finally, a great leader is capable of adapting to situations, concealing their true intentions and using the power of surprise. This chapter focuses specifically on the use of fire in warfare. Sun Tzu categorizes the methods of attack and lists a variety of factors that must be observed, such as timing, weather, and wind conditions. One must be prepared to adapt to 5 possible developments that may come about when using fire as an attack. Also, it is important to understand the nature of winds. It is also crucial that water can be used as an attack. He emphasizes that success comes from cultivating the spirit of enterprise and not in general stagnation. Lastly, Sun Tzu urges against recklessness and to strike only when there is an advantage. This final chapter underscores the critical role of intelligence gathering. Sun Tzu identifies 5 types of spies and emphasizes the importance of maintaining intimate relations with them. He further explains how to manage and employ these spies, stressing the importance of secrecy, benevolence, and subtlety. It is through converted spies that all other spies are able to do their jobs. It is the highest intelligence of the army for spying that great results can be achieved, and an army's ability to move is enhanced. Sun Tzu's The Art of War offers lessons not just for battles, but for any arena where strategy and planning are needed. These principles of knowing yourself, knowing your opponent, and adapting to the situation have echoed through the ages, shaping military strategy and inspiring leaders worldwide.